Good evening, everybody, or good morning, wherever you may be, and welcome to Drew Crime Live. This is a special Wednesday night episode. I'm going to start trying to do some more Wednesday night stuff. So that's at your suggestion, Darnell. I might not be able to do it every Wednesday because of work, but I'm going to try to do a show every Wednesday, probably around this time, 8:30, and then always make sure to do the Sunday show at 8 o'clock, which is going to be more Zodiac true crime stuff. And then the Wednesday stuff like today will be missing people, such as the subject tonight, which, of course, is about the disappearance of Riley Strain, who disappeared recently in Nashville, Tennessee. A really strange case, but it could be just a straight up case. I don't know. That's why I want to know what you guys think. And people are already starting to weigh in. Hey, Jay. Brant, good seeing everybody. Julius, I agree. I'm going to put Julius's comments up for sure. And if I miss anybody's comment, I apologize in advance. I always try to go back through and catch it. But if I ever miss anybody's question or comment, make sure to drop it in the chat or the message section of the video once it uploads to YouTube is a good place to do it because after this show closes out, of course, all the live comments go away. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and checking out all the other content on the channel. Of course, I do a lot of Yuba County 5. I'm going to do another show with Tony Wright soon because he's going to be doing a Yuba County 5 Netflix special, which is part of a bigger show on Netflix covering different mysteries. But I'll put out more about that pretty soon. I think that comes out April 3rd on Netflix will be that episode, and Tony's going to be part of that. So really looking forward to that Netflix show coming out that's going to cover some Yuba County 5 material. Thank you, Patty, for making everybody feel welcome, of course. And without further ado, I want to do some background of this case. And this is probably one of the better write-ups I've seen on this disappearance of Riley Strain. And it's this is from CNN. It says, what we know about the college student who disappeared in Nashville. And then it says authorities in Tennessee are searching for a 22-year-old college student who vanished after leaving a downtown Nashville bar more than a week ago. Riley Strain, and this was written yesterday, by the way, so he's been missing now, I think, 8 days or so. It says Riley Strain, a student at the University of Missouri, was on a weekend trip to Nashville when he was kicked out of Luke's 32 Bridge, country singer Luke Bryan's bar in Nashville, authorities said. Strain's friends and family have been unable to reach him since March 8, and police searches have been unsuccessful. Police are urging anyone with information about Strain's whereabouts to come forward. Here's what we know about the student's disappearance. Student disappeared after being asked to leave bar. Strain hasn't been seen since he left Luke's 32 Bridge alone on March 8th, according to statements from police and the bar. He purchased one alcoholic drink and two waters at the bar, according to a statement on Instagram from TC Restaurant Group and Luke's 32 Bridge. At 9:38 p.m., our security team made a decision based on our conduct standards to escort him from the venue through our Broadway exit at the front of our building, the statement reads. One member of his party followed him down the stairs, according to the statement. But this individual, Riley, did not exit and returned upstairs. That's going to be important later in this discussion. The bartender said he had been overserved. Strain's stepfather, Chris, I can't pronounce his stepfather's name, but it's like Whitey, Whiteid. I think it's Whited, told CNN affiliate WZTV he was trying to pay his tab. After Strain left the bar, he had a brief encounter with a police officer, according to the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, which released body cam video of the encounter in a Monday Facebook post. And I've seen that video of this missing college student, Riley Strain, and it'll show I think I have a still of it. It shows the him walking past the police officer, and the police officer says, "Hey, how are you doing?" or something like that. And he said, "Doing fine. How are you?" Real polite. Didn't seem intoxicated at all in that short video. It says the video shows Strain's brief exchange of greetings with Officer Reginald Young on Gay Street, south of the Woodland Street Bridge, the department said. Riley did not appear distressed. Officer Young was there on a vehicle burglary call and remained on that portion of Gay Street for 45 minutes. No video has been discovered that shows Riley away from Gay Street after the 9:52 p.m. time frame, the Post adds. Strain is 6 foot 5 inches with a thin build, blue eyes, and light brown hair. The Metropolitan Nashville Police Department said in a post on X. He was last seen at 9:52 p.m. Friday on Gay Street after drinking downtown, another post says. Strain was in Nashville attending a private event, the University of Missouri said in a statement, adding university officials are in touch with his family and Nashville authorities as the search continues. Police searched the area, including a riverbank near where he was last seen on video with a helicopter and by ground Monday. On Tuesday, the department released surveillance video. It said showed Strain wearing a two-tone shirt crossing a street at 9:47 p.m. So this wasn't real late at night at all. It wasn't. I know he was pretty intoxicated, obviously, but it wasn't like 2 p.m. or whenever the bars close in Nashville. It says Brian, the country singer, said in an Instagram story Tuesday he is praying for Strain's safe return and urged anyone with information about his whereabouts to come forward. Why did Strain's stepfather say the disappearance is the family's worst nightmare? I can imagine. He talks to his mom 3 or 4 times a day, he told WZTV. For him to go this long without talking is not normal by any means. I've read a lot about this, and apparently Riley texted his mother a lot during the day and called her a lot during the day, so she immediately knew something was wrong. He's my baby, Strain's mother, Michelle Whited, told WZTV. Police search turns to Riverbank. As the days pass since Strain vanished, the search has taken police to a river near where he was last spotted. Though Strain's cell phone was off by the time police began looking into his whereabouts, Verizon Wireless said the last known location of the phone was less than a mile from a cell tower located at 19 Oldham Street near the Cumberland River, according to the report. Police said they searched the area with no luck. On Thursday, Nashville police said its urban search and rescue team was searching for Strain along the brush line of the riverbank. So I know obviously everybody thinks he went into the river. So do I. A strange bank card was found on the embankment between Gay Street and the Cumberland River, according to a Sunday X post from Nashville police. TC Restaurant and Luke's 32 Bridge said in their Instagram post they were working to provide police with security camera footage as well as any other potentially helpful information to help with the search. The Tennessee Alcohol and Beverage Commission said it is investigating the incident. In a release Tuesday, the commission said it has worked with law enforcement to determine where Strain was served alcohol that night. There's going to be a lawsuit. Let's face it. No matter how this turns out, especially if he was overserved, and that all licensed establishments questioned have been cooperative. I mean, they're worried. You could lose your alcohol license for sure for overserving if that led to this uh, poor guy's demise. Last week, the commission separately noted although state law prohibits serving alcohol to a visibly intoxicated person, there are no specific rules or statutes that governs escorting out intoxicated patrons from their businesses or providing assistance in getting someone home. So that's the basics of what happened with Riley Strain, and there's all sorts of different stories about he was asked to leave Luke's 32 Bridge bar because he was intoxicated, and he was somewhere outside of the bar after he was told to exit. And some of the reports say that he was not allowed to hang out like right where he exited the bar, and the bouncers or whoever at the bar told him to leave that area too, which then he disappears forever basically. And now he's seen by that police officer after he leaves. And there's another video purported to be of Riley Strain walking down another street not far from the bar. I think they know he didn't walk towards the direction of his hotel, which I think was 4 blocks away. But this other video shows somebody possibly trying to grab Riley. And remember, he's a tall guy, 6'5". I mean, he's thin, but he's very tall. And then he gets away from this person. It's hard to see it. I tried to watch it on X, but it's difficult to see. But if this is Riley in the video, he falls and it appears to hit his head on something, either the ground or something close. So that may have added to his confusion if he was already intoxicated and hit his head pretty hard. But there's all sorts of speculation about why a friend didn't leave with him immediately when Riley was kicked out of the bar. And their story was that they were told to stay behind because they had to close their bar tabs out. Now, I don't know how that works. I'm not a bar goer anymore. I used to be in the old days. But obviously the tab's open, so the bar's going to get paid. So if you just had to leave, what I think they do is just close it out. They might add 20% to it. So I don't know if that was important to it, or they had two or three tabs open. We don't know yet. And a lot of people are blaming this on his friends for not being there and accusing them of not, watching over their buddy after he got thrown out of the bar. So we don't know. It's all speculation, and some people feel that the friends are making that up. The story about having to close their tabs, maybe, but I don't know why they would have stayed longer. I mean, what would be the point unless they stayed another hour because they were hanging out and having a good time and they didn't care that their buddy was out there thrown out of the bar, and could he make it back to the hotel or not in that kind of shape? We don't know. There's also speculation that somebody drugged Riley's drink at the bar, because there's talk how the friend said he was acting really strange. I mean, outside of being very, very intoxicated enough to get kicked out of the bar, that he was acting out of character for himself, because I'm sure as a group, being his fraternity brothers at this bar, Riley being 22 years old, probably legal to drink since 21, they probably knew his behavior, even drunk. I'm sure they've been drunk with Riley before, and they had made some comments that he was acting really strange. So there is some speculation that he may have been drugged, like maybe a rohypnol or date rape drug was put into his drink, which they say has happened at this bar before. I'm sure that happens at many bars. I don't know if that's as common now. You also have to take into account if anybody had done drugs that evening, because the whole fentanyl thing is out of control. So let's just say they're drinking and maybe did some cocaine in the bathroom. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know any of these guys, and I'm not trying to cast any dispersions on them at all. A lot of these mysterious deaths that come up have been related to fentanyl, like these guys that were all buddies that were watching the Kansas City Chiefs game, and three of the buddies went outside and froze to death. I mean, that did turn out to be drugs that were laced, given by the guy that was having the party at his house. So these things are happening. I think fentanyl is probably even a bigger possibility than somebody trying to drug this guy. And people are like, why would you drug a 6'5" male or whatever? Who knows? Who knows? But it's interesting that they said he was acting out of character. And I'm thinking that's based on even when he's drunk, because I'm sure these guys have been drunk together many, many, many times. What made this night so different? Who knows? But were they really closing their tabs out, or was there another reason? And is it true that the people working at the bar made Riley leave the area where he exited the bar and just said, "Hey, get away from here"? Like, was he doing anything? What did he do that led to him being kicked out of the bar? Is what I would want to know as well. But apparently he does not go back to the hotel. He winds up over near the Cumberland River, and they find his ID there. So I agree with Julius before, saying this is a pretty uh, open case of Occam's razor, where he just fell into the water. And there's all these things about maybe smiley face killer and these guys around these, from 18 to 22 that go missing, and they're always they might find the body near a body of water. And then, of course, the whole smiley case theory is that someone would draw a smiley face on concrete or something near where the person goes missing. But we don't know that yet. And that's pure speculation. And he probably did fall in the river. And I think, as Julia said, that your body's not going to come up to the top for a while. It takes a while to decompose. And I think the gases fill up in your stomach or whatnot. And I agree with that. And then you'll start to float to the top. And what I also understand is that people, someone has, fallen into this river before. I mean, many people have over time. It's very murky from what I know. I've never been near this river before. I've been around Nashville, but not even in downtown. But if that's the case, he should be found pretty soon. If that's the case, I think he'll go a little bit down the river some, but they usually find people that do fall into that river within a week or so. And he's already been this has already been what, 8 days. So I would think in the next 4 or 5 days, they should find him. If they don't find him in the next 4 or 5 days, I think this case really becomes a huge mystery if he's never found at all. Because, like Julia says, once the body decomposes and it gets lighter and it's more able to float up to the top of the water, that they should be able to find Riley. So I hope so. I hope he's still alive, but it doesn't look good. I mean, unfortunately, at all. So I still need to get this. Battery in my mouse. Hey, Jay. Good seeing you. Hey, Mulleteer. Let me see, Julius. You read today it was a bit weird. Said he was asked to leave the bar because of some conversation he had with a server employee there. I didn't hear that. That's interesting. Although this doesn't help locating him. No, but it's interesting to know what may have led up to him being thrown out. Was he more drunk than his friends, or was he really acting that strange? I mean, that's what I want to know. How strange was he acting? Because I've left many a bar drunk in my day, back when I was young, and there's being drunk and even being really drunk, and something's different going on here. Like, just being drunk is not going to make you. How does that make you wind up in a river, for crying out loud? I mean, you still would have your wherewithal to know that if I go in that thing, I might drown, even if you're drunk. I mean, I it's I think drunk is almost too convenient, for everything. I do wonder if this guy wasn't drugged or fentanyl, or I really feel something more than alcohol was involved here. I mean, yes, I do feel he fell in the river, but I honestly think there's more than alcohol here. It's just my gut. Yeah, inner cities are definitely not my cup of tea. Been around them, and these days it's worse than ever. A drunk guy fell in the Cumberland and drowned. I read about that too, Nathan. The drunk guy fell in the Cumberland and drowned back in 2021 after leaving a bar in East Nashville. Didn't they find that guy? They eventually found him, like maybe a week later, I think. Yeah, I had not read that either, but I'm definitely interested to know what happened with him if he was talking to the server, and that'll probably all come out because that the bar owners, Luke Bryan, or who, the ownership group or whatever, are petrified of a lawsuit at this point. Possibly on prescription drugs as well too. That could have just been a bad mix with the alcohol. They did find him. Okay, I heard someone else went missing in the river last year, and they did find it. So going back to that video, and it's on TikTok. And I've seen it where I was talking about where this is after he left the bar, not the encounter with the police officer, but this one that purportedly shows Riley falling down. Someone's trying to hold on to him, and then he looks like he hits his head. It says, uh, "This has happened hundreds of times, and many people are quick to dismiss it. Something in all caps is going on." This is a comment from Reddit discussing this case. It says, "Here you can see where he was grabbed by someone holding onto his arm, but he breaks away and starts running. He looks back to see if he's being chased. Then he takes a mean fall. All the while, no one stops to help." And I've read that in multiple places, and it does appear that this is Riley Strain in that video. And you hear about a lot of these missing persons cases where someone has this intense fear that comes over them and they run. And I mean, if you're drunk and are you really going to have that fear of just running? There's something more going on here in his mind, drug wise, or something, because it reminds me of so many of these missing person cases where something comes over the people and they take off running. Before, I mean, it's one of the last things they're ever seen doing is they take off running for some reason, like the case, God, what's his name? The guy that disappeared up in Idaho that was working on the TV show, where something came over him. He dropped his radio and he ran right into the wilderness in front of everybody. There's something came over him and he runs like a hare into the woods. Something comes over these guys. So that appears what's happening to this person in the video, which I'm pretty confident is Riley. For some reason, he just gets something in his mind that someone's out to get him or whatever, and he takes off. That's not a drunk person is not this. If you're that drunk, you're not going to be that paranoid, really. That just sounds like drugs. Yeah. What's his name? No, not Daniel Robinson. I can't remember. Look it up, Patty. You can remind me. I can't pull up names like I used to. I'm getting too old. No, they are apparently looking downstream about 45 miles at a dam. Man, they can go that far in the Cumberland. That's crazy. This guy says, this is also a Reddit post, playing devil's advocate here. and to someone who lives close to Nashville, security kind of has to be a-holes because the late night crowds in Nashville are some of the wildest and crazy drunk people you will ever see. Not saying that Riley was, but I can see where security would have developed a very callous and cold approach to dealing with drunk people, especially at one of the most popular bars in town. That is interesting to note. I'm sure those bouncers in Nashville have seen it all. I mean, uh, completely insane stuff. This person says, I read that when Riley was asked to leave, his friends had to pay their tab, like I mentioned. And while Riley was waiting for his friends outside, security pushes him away to stop loitering. I mean, if that's true, the bar's going to have some splaining to do. I don't know if they could get sued for that, but it's not good for them. This person says something isn't adding up. Paying tabs is fine, but don't make Riley leave first or allow him to wait outside. He wasn't waiting though. He was trying to walk back to his hotel on his own. If I were a brother, I'd just Venmo the money to a friend and have them pay my tab while I went with Riley. Agreed. There's either an utter lack of common sense here or a surplus of selfishness. I hate to agree with that, but I do. This person says the bartender said he was overserved, in quotes, and he was escorted out the back door by security. Security would not allow his fraternity brothers to go out with him. Again, I don't know if that's true. It's just what people are saying. They had to exit at the front of the bar. They were unable to find him. And of course, this story could have been put together by the brothers later after the fact because they're CYA, because the brothers went back to, obviously, I went back to their hotel and didn't realize that Riley was missing till the next day. And I think they didn't call his parents until maybe 11 a.m. or something the next morning. It says there is speculation that he was roofied. His friend said that he had never behaved that way before when drinking, and I'm sure these guys had had many a pop together. And so that is what I'm honing in on, is that his friend said he had never behaved that way before when drinking. So that makes me think that some other either rohypnol or fentanyl or something else is going on. Terrence Woods, thank you, Patty. Terrence Woods Jr. Actually, he got went missing in Idaho, and something came over him where he slid down a rock, dropped his radio, working on a TV production crew for the TV show Gold Rush, and he ran like a hare. They said, like a bolt of lightning into the woods, and his father could not believe that because he said Terrence was totally unathletic. He was flat-footed. He could never run fast, but yet all accounts of Terrence was he took off like a bolt of lightning into the vast wilds of the Idaho forest in the middle of nowhere. And Idaho County, I think, is the most dense. Like, I don't think there's a Walmart within 800 miles of where he went missing. And of course, never found again. So it's just like, why was Riley running like that after that? Unless he was just scared. I mean, 6'7". I mean, sorry, 6'5". Ugh, I mean, people are going to be reluctant to mess with a guy that tall, even if he's thin and young. I mean, that's really tall, 6'5". I mean, that's a definite advantage to anybody messing with you to be that. Um, it says Saturday afternoon, about 16 hours after Riley was last seen, some of his friends came to the Central Precinct on Korean Veterans Parkway, hoping to report him missing. When they couldn't get into the lobby, that's when they called 911. Boats did not resume searching the Cumberland River on Wednesday for Riley Strain, as the Metro Nashville Police Department said detectives were shifting their focus to reviewing security video of the missing college student. Wouldn't you think they'd be doing everything to find this kid? Give me a break. Strain was last seen on camera near the river while crossing First Avenue north at Gay Street around 9:47 p.m. His phone was last tracked near the Public Square Park along the Cumberland River. Of course, that's a picture of Riley. I should have had that up. Nice looking kid. There's another comment. I'm not sure where I grabbed this one. I think it was on a Facebook post. It said, my sister on Facebook has friends who know Riley and family of Riley. I do not know these people at all. Everything I am sharing comes directly from accounts on Facebook. According to one comment, Riley's friends had open tabs at the bar and they said they could not leave immediately, and then he was kicked out. It says, second, trigger warning. I don't know if this link will work, but this is a video apparently of Riley falling. It's hard to watch. Okay, they're referencing that same video. Uh, of him running. This says, let me get this. It says, while to me that people are blaming the bar, the bouncers, and all passersby, this sounds like a tragic accident. Young man gets too drunk and falls into the river. If anything is to blame, it's binge drinking culture and maybe the fact that young men are not taught to stick together while out drinking the same way women are. I totally agree with that. Obviously, it would be nice for security at a bar to look out for a drunk patron, but bouncers at a busy bar on a busy night cannot call rides for every drunk person leaving the premises. And it would be nice for a random stranger to check in on a drunk man walking alone, but being in a city known from drinking, a city known for drinking, with tons and tons of people stumbling around this area every weekend, it just isn't realistic that someone would go out of their way to help a stranger who isn't asking for help. Drunk people can be unpredictable, uh, with their own feelings to do and their own safety to consider. I agree with that. This person says, I definitely say he's in the water. All of these comments on post about smiley face killers, kidnapping, murder is such a reach. He was a young student beyond drunk on camera, falling all over the place while being close to a big body of water. His credit card was found very close to the water, down a little walkway that leads right to the river. I feel like it's so disrespectful to suggest such things like smiley face killer. I see the police still searching the same area he went missing, which is honestly beyond me because the current would have swept his body far away by now. I hope he's found safe, but I think we all know where he is headed, unfortunately. So, Julius, the drug angle is all too real. The last time I was there, I was approached quite a few times by people asking to sell me every kind of drug. Was that in Nashville? At the point, the body could be well over 100 miles from Nashville based on water flow, according to a hydrologist you heard. Wow, that is crazy. 100 miles. That is a long way. I guess there's that much of a current in that river. I heard it's really murky, but I would think there'd be a bunch of vegetation or tree limbs or just junk, debris. I don't know how bad. I don't know if they clean it regularly, especially along a touristy city like Nashville. But that's amazing. 100 miles. That's a long way to go. Just like a dead, lifeless body drifting in the water. 100 miles. I don't know. I suspect drugs. I really do. And hopefully, if I hope he's still alive. But let's face it, he probably isn't. But when they do find his body, I hope they can somehow figure out what was in his system if it's not already too difficult by him being decomposed if he's in the water on Broadway. Okay, the main street with all the bars. Yeah, I'm definitely if they said he was acting out of character, even when by drinking standards, because I mean these guys definitely know what it's like to go out drinking with all their buddies. I mean, the kid was 22 years old. I mean, I'm sure they have had many of a drunken night in different places. And if they said he was acting out of his normal self, even while drinking, I take note of that. But I want to know exactly how he was acting. Like, I think if he running is not normal. They did? They found someone else's body while they were looking for Riley? Wow, that's interesting. I gotta read about that. So they were dragging it. They were dragging the river, or did they or this or did the body float up to the top, Nathan? Darnell, this reminds me. Yes, thank you, Darnell. This does remind me of Brian Schaefer. And that Brian Schaefer is a case that I dug into deeply into Brian Schaefer. I almost wrote a book about it. I was talking to two or three people in Columbus about things behind the scenes with the Brian Schaefer case, trying to find out more that wasn't really known about Brian. And I agree, Darnell. This reminds me so much of Brian Schaefer, where Brian Schaefer leaves a bar, very tall guy, not as tall as Riley, but tall guy, leaves the bar. He's not seen on video leaving the bar. But Brian was never found, and they think he may have gone into the river. I guess it's Ohio River going through Columbus, Ohio, where he was going to Ohio State Med School. But I agree, Darnell. This reminds me a lot of Brian Schaefer. I'm glad you said that because I'd forgotten. I thought that earlier how much it reminds me of the Brian Schaefer case. I think Brian was likely killed outside the bar where he was suspected to have disappeared. Yes, I think there was like he might have gone to the Wendy's across the street. And I agree, Darnell. I think that Brian Schaefer got out of that bar, the Ugly Tuna Saloona, and they just didn't get caught on video. Maybe he goes out the other the construction entrance. I never thought he was left in the bar. That's crazy. You think they would have smelled the body by then or something over time. I know that's a theory, but I think that Brian just got out. They didn't make it on video, and some kind of foul play may have happened around the Wendy's parking lot or something. And then there's rumors that Brian owned Loan Shark's money outside of Columbus, maybe further out into the suburbs around Columbus. And of course, his cell phone pinged when his girlfriend was calling his phone every day, and finally got a ping after like 4 weeks into a neighborhood somewhere outside of Columbus. And then, but they could never really determine if that was a legitimate ping or not off of his cell phone. But yeah, totally reminds me of Brian Schaefer here. Similar age. I think Brian was a little older because he was already in med school after undergrad at Ohio State. But tall guy, nice looking, heavily drinking at a bar, and never seen again. Just so many hallmarks of Brian Schaefer. I agree. Good point, Darnell. I agree. How these bouncers probably deal with so much. I mean, they've got all these bachelorette parties down there. They've got these guys that probably you just get rowdy, drunk, and it is kind of hard to judge when you're dealing with that night after night on these weekends of these heavy drinking nights. It's going to be interesting because no, if they find Riley and it's determined that he fell over or whatever, I just the family's so distraught. They're going to bring lawsuits. I mean, and it's just going to happen. Let's face it. The bar is going to be. It's probably already looking at the implications of if they overserved him, and if that led to his demise. There's going to be lawsuits from this. It's inevitable in my opinion. We'll see how it plays out. No, I think it might be a different spelling, Foxy. I don't think that I don't think he was related to Darren. I think they're both Schaefers, but I think the spelling maybe it is. It's Darren's Schafer. Weird too is that people did say he had phone power. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Weird too is that people did say he had phone power, but phone went dead. Smacks of water submersion. Yeah, I guess the water got in and destroyed the device. It can't transmit anymore if it's submerged in water. Hey Jen, he must have done or said something to get kicked out. Yeah, that's what somebody was saying earlier that they heard that he may have said something to uh, somebody working at that bar, and maybe they picked up on it. Like maybe I don't know, maybe he said something lewd to a cute waitress or something. I don't know, but somebody earlier said that they had heard he had said something to one of the wait staff or a bartender, and that might have been what led him to get kicked out of the bar. Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised they didn't all get asked to leave. That's true. Usually, if there's one in a group, they do. They tell them all to leave. That's true. I agree with you there. They do. I've seen that happen. I was with a group once that all got kicked out over one guy. This guy was just acting up. They just throw us all out. They know he's with you, so they just say, just get the whole group out. I agree. That is odd. They would just ask one to leave, and you think they'd want to all leave together. Who cares if the tabs are open? I mean, their credit card's open. Let them do what they want to do. If they charge you an extra 20%, fight it later with the credit card company. If the tab is open, they're going to get their money. I don't know. There's still something fishy going on with that whole thing about closing out the bar tabs. I don't know if I buy that. That could be the friends just feeling guilt. I mean, I'm not trying to put the blame on them, but something doesn't ring true with this whole paying the tab stuff. This is a video still of Riley walking past the officer, and I watched this video, and he seems perfectly sober. And the cop is investigating this a break-in of this red truck, I believe, and you can kind of see where this back window of the truck has been broken out. I mean, just showing how lovely city of crime here. It's a reminds me of Houston. To these, they take that device and will break out one of the windows and grab your laptop or whatever, your gun or whatever, seat, or get into your truck and steal your stuff. But you could see in the video where that truck's window had been busted out. But the cop made it a point to look at Riley and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or just, I mean, I don't know if there was anything that the officer thought was odd about him. And Riley answered back, "I'm doing well. How are you?" Like, really polite. So he didn't seem intoxicated at all in that video exchange, which is on the internet. That's a still of that. There's the red truck that got broken into, and that's Riley right there. It's kind of not easy to see how tall he is. Well, you actually can. You can tell this is a pretty tall guy. There's nothing up against, but that is definitely Riley Strain right there. And then I think after that is where they have this video of somebody trying to hold on to Riley, and then he breaks away and starts running, which is just a drunk person is going to be like, if you're doing something, like, leave me alone, man. And they're not going to just have this fear and take off running. I'm just feeling drugs. I don't know. Going to be hard to prosecute, fine, revoke license if you can't accurately pinpoint where he. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if he was drinking other than, what did it say? He had like a one drink and they said that he had one alcohol drink and 2 glasses of water at the bridge. That's interesting because maybe he did drink more at wherever he was before he went to this to the bridge bar. Could have had 10 at previous bar and 1 there. Who's liable? True, but trust me, they're going to be looking at all of them. I mean, the family is gonna. People are gonna feel sympathy. They're gonna. I think when the families are distraught like that, they want to blame somebody. And I'm not saying the bar should be sued at all. I'm not. I'm just telling you it's gonna happen. They're gonna try. You blame them for letting him leave, knowing he wasn't right in the head. Crummy friends, yeah, very crummy friends. They should not have done that. Especially knowing the state he was in. Poor guy. I mean, but I agree. The whole culture, this just, going there knowing you're just going to get, blitz like that. You just have to have some kind of safety net, plans in place, not letting a guy like that just go out there on his own. But I hope that's not true about him being, after he was let outside, that they shoo him away for loitering. I hope that isn't true, but I'm sure it's going to come out. There's a couple more pictures of Riley. I think that's the Metro phone number to Metro National Metro Nashville PD. Metro National is coming to work for Metro Nashville 615-862-8600. Was visiting, 6 foot, blue eyes, light brown hair, really nice looking kid. It's just a shame. It's just really a shame. That's true. Agree. You could possibly get previous receipts or cameras if they paid cash. Yeah, I mean, the way you think about it, from after they got kicked out, they said they were having to close their tab, so that means that they opened up a credit card, which a lot of those places make you do. If you're going to have more than one drink, the bars encourage you to open up a tab, which means they have your credit card, and it's just they keep it open until you close out. So if they left without closing it out, the bar would just close it out. And I think some people said if you do that and you don't actually close it out and sign off for it, that they just add another 20% on top of it. I don't know if that's true. My bar days are long over, but maybe somebody else here knows. Yes. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I think they're still diving. I don't know if they're dragging it, but man, if he's 100 miles, oh, definitely, Darnell. This is definitely going to wind up on 48 hours, or maybe sooner than later. Kind of like the students that were killed in Moscow, Idaho. How that was heavily covered and quickly on shows like 48 Hours. HLN probably will too. If they chased him off, wouldn't that? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the one that they caught him in the street, it looks like somebody's holding him, but I don't think that was anybody from the bar. I think it was after he had gotten further away from the bar where somebody was holding on to him, and then he breaks away and he starts running, and then it looks like he falls and hits his head really hard. So maybe he was Could have been going maybe towards the hotel, and then he hurts his head and then gets much worse. But just running like that, a drunk 6'5" person, who's grabbing him that he's going to be scared of. I mean, I know he's a thin guy, but 6'5". I mean, even a stocky guy that's 6 feet and below is not gonna have a lot of a good luck if a 6 foot guy wants to defend himself. Water's incredibly murky there too. That's what I've heard. Like, just make it that much harder to find him. So I think the odds are that he's going to turn up in the next, next few days. I say he turns up somewhere, especially when the body does what it does and the gases fill up and he starts making its way towards the top of the water. I agree. I think he's going to be found, but who knows what the autopsy will show if he's been submerged in water for 2 weeks. But hopefully, I'm praying this guy's still alive somehow. It just doesn't look good. Where? Strange aircraft out in I-9 in the Pacific west of LA at this time. That's weird. I like reports like that. It reminds me of the old Art Bell days. I have to do a call-in show. Maybe I'll do that. Sometimes I'm just going to let random people come on. They want to, of course, but don't say anything bad. A witness saw the other body float by. That's interesting. Check the other slide. Yes, they will go after everybody like they did after the station fire. Yeah, when those people got killed at the station at the Great White concert, was it Vermont? That was Rhode Island. Sorry, that was in Rhode Island where the station fire happened, and all those concert goer young people died because they couldn't get out of the building because of the pyrotechnics and the I think the insulation and stuff in that building wasn't to code, and it just went up like a tinderbox when they did those pyrotechnics. They should not have shot those off in that building. The fire started, all those people died, and they sued. I think the term is blitz sued. They sued everybody. They sued the bar owners. They sued the advertisers who advertised the concerts. They sued the band, that Great White. They sued everybody in the band individually. They sued everybody within it, like 100 miles of that place. They blitz sued everybody. I mean, you were thinking all we did was advertise. We had, Budweiser. They sued Budweiser for being a sponsor of the bar or the show, and they settled. Like Budweiser, like they have all the money in the world. They didn't even want to be attached to it. They just said, "How much you want?" Literally. I mean, they sued everybody. I don't know if it'll be that drastic here, but when that sympathy is there, there's going to be lawsuits. I'm not saying they'll prevail, but there's going to be lawsuits at probably every bar these guys were at. No, that's true. I mean, he would. Yeah, at that height, he was already very thin. Uh, he would look like a stick, unfortunately. Yes, do a call-in show. Darnell, thank you. I appreciate that, Darnell. Appreciate your friendship. Yeah, I hope so, Darnell. The only thing close that's happened lately is a French TV crew wants to use one of our videos, one of the Zodiac videos they want to use, and I don't know how much of it they want to use, but it was the one on Donna Lass, strangely enough, and they want to use portions of me talking about the Donna Lass disappearance for this French documentary. And I did suggest my friend Jerome. I said I have a French speaking friend who knows the Zodiac case really well. If you should consider interviewing him for your documentary, since it's going to be done in French, so it'd be great if they had Jerome on there. Yes, they sued Budweiser, and I believe Budweiser settled. I mean, I don't know if they sue all the people serving the alcohol at the Luke's 32 Bridge or whatever the bar's name, but It could happen. I mean, there's going to be multiple lawsuits, unfortunately. I think a lot of times when the bars get sued is when if they serve somebody underage, they'll really get sued. Of course, he was 22, no problem there. But when some of these bars would get sued, they would serve underage people, and then they'd wind up killing somebody in a DWI accident, and then that's when they get really sued. Unfortunately, after all this time frame and the last known location, the likely answer is he ended up in that river one way or the other. I agree 100%. Personally, doubt foul play. I think those theories don't make sense. Yeah, probably not. I agree with you. I think that there may have been some drug element to it because this guy, even at 22 and young, I don't think he was a stranger to lots of alcohol. Being in a fraternity, I'm sure. Uh, my uncle said about two of my cousins that they were pretty wild partiers. And when they turned 21, my uncle asked them if they were going to stop drinking because they were already such veteran, type frat guys by the time they turned 21. And I just think this guy is no stranger to being that drunk, and this is still out of character for him. So I think there was some other element than alcohol going on. But I don't think foul play either. I think he did go into the river, but I think something else was going on other than just being that level of drunk. I don't know that for sure. I just think so because the behavior is a little more than just being that intoxicated, especially if he ran. The running does not equate to drunkenness, in my opinion. When you're that drunk, you don't feel like running anywhere. You just don't. I mean, that sounds like drugs or paranoia or I don't know. Just to me, it doesn't sound like just alcohol. But like somebody else said, maybe prescription mixed or you just don't know. But I'd love it if they found this guy alive. I do. I just don't think that's in the cards, unfortunately. You know what? I thought I saw that. What was the deal where someone said they saw someone wearing his shirt, which was rather unique. Uh, I don't know that's interesting. It wasn't like a homeless person or something, but somebody said they saw them wearing the shirt because the shirt was unique. I don't. I think I don't know if you could see that. You can't really see it here because this was the same night, obviously. Um, I want to blow that picture up, but I can't. One of these days, I'm going to learn how to do this. Full screen. Okay, there it is. Can't really see it there. It looks like a different. That's definitely him. You could just tell even there how tall he is. But it looks like some white at the bottom and something different up top. But you can't get. Definitely looks like there's two colors going on, but you can't really see the pattern or anything in that shirt. But that's interesting. If someone else, you heard, okay, it was a homeless person wearing the shirt. A friend of mine told me that they felt that maybe a homeless person could have been responsible for Riley winding up in the river. I think if we all looked at our drunken times, we could have all been tragically. Oh, I agree with that 100%. We all could have been tragically unluckily, despite experience with alcohol, severely drunk in Greece. Wow, on a solo trip. Luckily, you found your hotel. Yeah, that's scary when you're in a foreign country like that. But the running, it's drunk. Running when you're drunk. I don't know. When you're drunk, you just feel a little more, maybe a little more invincible, but not scared. I mean, scared is more drugs to me, but two-tone shirt like Charlie Harper on yeah, 2.5 Men. Yeah, definitely two-tone. You can see that. Hopefully, I didn't cut myself off. I probably cut myself off from that whole part. I was reading the comments. Yeah, I agree. Um, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I unfortunately have been in that situation, but I can never remember ever drinking and being drunk and wanting to run. I don't. That's just not what I want to do when I'm drunk. I don't feel like running at all. Even young, even at 22, even in the best shape of my life, I don't feel like running. I mean, especially, still early though. It wasn't 2 p.m. It was what, like around 10 p.m. No reports. It's just in that one video, it looks like he's being held onto and he breaks away and he's running. So maybe he did fear, maybe somebody was messing with him because they could tell he was drunk. His encounter with the officer didn't show any signs of fear. No, it didn't. In fact, it didn't show any signs of drunkenness. The encounter with the officer is very polite. I mean, he didn't even hesitate to answer back. He said, "How are you?" He was very polite, right back to the officer. He wasn't, his words sounded fine. He seemed fine with the officer. 100% agree. He didn't seem scared. It's more whatever's happening in that video where they tried to hold on to him. Cheney with an E. Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, you get me the book, I'll sign it. No problem. I've done that before. The only person I ever signed a book for that I sort of regretted was Brian Ingram, the guy that found DB Cooper's money. I mean, I signed it, put something. He asked me for it. Brian Ingram asked me to sign him a book, of course, Paratrooper of Fortune. And I can't remember what I wrote in it, but it was something cool, one of the cooler things I'd write in a book. And it was cool that he asked me for it. There's a kid that found DB Cooper's money, right? And I sent it to him and he got it and he finally got it. And he lives in Arkansas. And I was like, we've messaged a few times. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to read it. Thanks. I got it, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Hey, man, this doesn't mean you endorse it or anything, but can you just send me a picture, get your wife or whoever, take a picture of you holding my book up? I would just, I signed it for you, gave it to you, free, mailed it, no charge. I think it'd be cool for the kid that found DB Cooper's money to hold my book up." And he never would do it. I'm like, come on, man. You're killing me. Oh, just a picture. It doesn't mean you agree with any of it. Just picture, book, Brian. I don't know. If you're listening, Brian, where's my picture, man? Yeah, that's true. His encounter with the officer, he seems fine. Yes, I agree. He does not appear to be drunk. I've seen the video, which makes you question how drunk he was to be that aware to put on a front. Yeah, it's true. I get that. Yeah, I remember that, Jay. I hope they got there in good shape. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, I don't know. It is weird. Going back to the encounter with the police officer makes the whole thing, you know, it's like Jennifer said, what specifically got him removed for that bar? Was he stumbling down? Was he just, I mean, was he, I mean, I want to know what exactly led to him being kicked out. Was he just obviously drunk? Hey, Drown Tone. I think has a lot to do with it. Is it wrong of you to feel a lot of sympathy towards the homelessness of the city? Seem to be getting a lot of negative attention for something with no actual weight to it at all. The homeless, to me, especially here in Houston, they're getting worse. They do, at least here, they're more aggressive. I don't know why. They're more, it could be drug abuse or whatever. And yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for them, but they're more aggressive now than they used to be. And I don't know what's causing that. That's the only thing. But, we don't know they had anything to do with it unless it can be proven that guy had his shirt on. It would be odd if a homeless person was found wearing Riley's shirt. I think that would be suspicious because how would they have got, unless they found it, took it off his body or something. I don't know. I mean, but we don't know that. It's pure speculation. So I'm definitely not blaming homeless people for what happened to him. Getting ready for midterms. You're at Planet Fitness on a treadmill. That's cool. Yeah, they should if they'll come clean about it. Like that deal in Kansas where those guys died, and it was, the friend that went to sleep in his warm house while his buddies froze to death from the fentanyl overdose he gave him. Frat buddies haven't said a word. They have, but they're being very careful. They haven't lawyered up. I mean, I could even see the parents trying to sue the friends. Like, I think that, I don't know if that happened in that Kansas City deal where the friends died of fentanyl outside the dude's house, but I'm sure there's going to be some civil action. I think those parents are already suing that guy, the buddy who lived in the house in that Kansas City deal. But I'd be a little worried if I was the friends. Oh yeah, if he was kicked out for petty reasons, the lawsuit will have legs. I agree. If it was maybe he said something off color to a waitress, we don't know. I mean, just pure speculation. But he absolutely seems straight up in that video with the cop. I mean, very polite answers. There's no delay. His voice sounds fine. I don't know. I mean, it just really makes me wonder that most of them choose to be at least the ones that used to know just drugged out, but somehow just yeah, just poor no nothing. Patty is the bomb. Now, hopefully, we'll find out more. I think they're gonna find him. I do. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna find him, and then maybe there'll be some answers. Was his shirt still on when they find the body? Can they do an autopsy? If he's been in the water for a week or two, I mean 2 weeks, would that mess up the autopsy results? Will we never know? I mean, I know there's some stuff that you can do that never even will come up in a toxicology report. But I think if the body's submerged in water, it's going to make it so hard. I think it makes it really hard to determine what happened. Like similar to that case of what was the lady's name in water, and there was all speculation on the foul play and everything. But they wound up finding her in the water. Was that like what, a year ago? It kind of reminds me of that. Oh, you're from Eureka in Humboldt County. Yeah, the film. Yeah, the film was taken. Yes, that is where the Patterson Gimlin film was taken in '67. I'm pretty sure that film was shot in '67. And that's a whole nother show, but I've made it pretty clear. I think that film is the real deal. Patterson Gimlin film is the real deal. Nobody could have faked that. There's no way those guys could have faked that and have it stand up to modern technology like it has. The way Patty moves, the way Patty bends, the length of the legs and the joints, the fact that Patty's a female. I mean, a million reasons. That film is legit. I will debate that till the cows come home. That doesn't mean I think there's thousands of Sasquatch in the woods, but that film is legit. I mean, there's no way you could have made a suit like that in 1967 that is still in question in 2024 and stands up to modern of film, clearing up the film and slowing it down and analyzing the film. There's no way. I don't know. I think Julius and some people have been there. I think any big city in America is risky and dangerous after you've been drinking. I really do. Hard to believe a guy whose height would be a target from. That's true. I agree. A 6 foot guy is just skinny or not, young or not, 6'5". If he wants to turn on you, he can do some damage just being that tall. But it's what from what I heard, Nashville has gotten pretty dangerous. It really has. It's not to the level of Memphis, and I've been to Memphis a lot. I used to manage 2 shopping centers in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's probably 3.5 hours west of Nashville. But Memphis is really violent, really scary. And I managed some shopping centers in the worst parts of Memphis. If people know Memphis is on Fraser Street. Had a Kroger shopping center I managed for a company I worked for. And man, uh, I had a guy that did some cleanup for us out there. He was a huge guy. I mean, 300-pound ex linebacker from Memphis, local guy. And he said, I wouldn't be caught dead out here after nighttime. And I'm like, man, you're 6'4", 300-pound former linebacker, big guy. He said, that scared me when he said, I won't be caught anywhere near here when it starts getting dark. And I'm like, yikes. That's how scary Memphis was. And I heard that Nashville was catching up to Memphis as far as crime, but I don't know. I'm not from Memphis. I mean, Nashville, but I heard it's getting pretty bad. Yeah, Nashville absolutely has significant crime. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That I've heard it was getting similar to Memphis crime wise. It's very unfortunate. That doesn't mean that's what, that something nefarious happened to Riley, but it could have. I mean, it could have. Maybe somebody drugged him and wanted to rob him later. It's that random stuff just happens at bars like that, you know, for whatever reason. I mean, it's really, really crazy the kind of stuff that can happen. That's true. Patty's walking gait is so long, even an NBA forward could not fill those footprints. No way. No way. The gait is so long. The way that this has been analyzed by people that study apes, gorillas, zoologists, you name it. The way the body moves, the way it bends, the butt crack, the breast, the way everything moves. A suit is not going to bend like that. It's not going to bend. The feet, the way the feet go when they're hitting the ground, there ain't no way. That is a legit video. 100%. That is a legit video. Bad things happen. You got to be aware. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, they do. I mean, those guys are going to regret it forever. His buddies are going to regret whatever they did. They're going to second guess it. Like, why didn't I leave? Why didn't I just leave even when the tab was open? Whatever the excuse is. At one point, one of the friends is going to come forward that there's always going to, I don't know how many of his friends were still at the bar, but one of them's going to feel guilty. Like I would. I'd feel so guilty. I'd be like, oh man, I know I did wrong. I'll be just like freaking out, like apologizing over and over to the guy's parents. Like, yeah, we screwed up. We should never have let him leave like that, like, or whatever. Then it was wrong. One of them is going to come totally clean about whatever happened in that bar. That's gonna be known at some point. Why he got kicked out, what the friend said, how much did he drink, where did they go before? That will all be found. Hey, Chris. Patterson film creature walks naturally with its knees bent. No human walks like that. Yes. Patty agrees. I am a believer in that film. Thanks for joining in, Liam. And if anybody's probably watching this in the morning, be our good friends over across the pond. Yeah, Nashville has been. I know all the bachelorette parties and all that recently popular, and with that comes crime of opportunity, much like New Orleans. Yeah, lots of pickpockets, uh, druggings, all that. Just people preying on that. Yeah, you can imagine. They know there's going to be all these drunken bachelorette girls and flashing jewelry and money and cash and all these popular country music celebrities owning bars. Garth Brooks, this guy, Luke Bryan. I know lots of those guys own bars. Kid Rock, all in Nashville, in the money and all that. That's just it's gonna bring a bad element with it. Yeah, unfortunately, for all the good and all the money it probably brings into the tax base of the city of Nashville in the downtown area. People are gonna prey on a lot of that too. It's just gonna happen. Didn't one frat brother walk out with him and then go back inside? I don't know. I haven't heard that. I'm not sure. That's interesting, though. I wonder if that's the one that said they made him go back in to pay the tab. Maybe that's where that comes from. I honestly don't know. But whatever I'll find out, I'll come back and do another show. Yes, I agree. She was right. My friends helped me, vice versa. Yeah, you gotta, girls are more trained to do that. Watch after each other, the guys. But I don't know. Yeah, he was a nice looking. He was a nice looking guy, tall, very nice looking. Maybe innocent. It makes you wonder. Could have been somebody attracted to him. I mean, I agree. It's probably Occam's razor, but we can't totally rule it out. Yeah, there is. There was a guy that claimed that he was the guy in the costume. I've seen that. He imitates a walk. Yeah, but remember that guy would have had years to perfect that. He would have had years to perfect that walk, and if he was telling the truth, I think he would have had more evidence. Like, where's the suit? If that was him, show me the suit. He can't. I don't believe him. there's years to try. There's just people come out of the woodwork to try to dispel it or get a few minutes of fame. There's no way. You could maybe try to learn the walk, but no way. That is legit. And those guys didn't really capitalize on that. It's not like they, got $1 million for that film. They didn't. They honestly did not. What was just a fool a few people and never come clean for nothing? No way. Yeah, I think the guy that says he wore it is a liar. I really do. Same thing happened with I think it was Travis Walton, the guy that said he was abducted by a UFO, which I believe. But I think a few years ago, somebody came out and claimed that he had told him it was all hoaxed and he made it up and all this stuff, and that never really got very far. I still believe Travis Walton too. I think his story's legit. I don't believe them all. I don't believe Bob Lazar. I think Bob Lazar might have knowledge of something, but I don't think he actually was at Area 51. Cat Daddy. Many researchers have walked the same river bottom and could not indent the soul half as deep. Yeah, it's true. They couldn't. I mean, she was huge and heavy. I mean, when you watch when they slow motion that, it is just no way somebody is going to go to that length to make it that right in 1967 when the best Hollywood makeup artist. I mean, that was the same year that they made Planet of the Apes, and look how fake the apes look in Planet of the Apes. I mean, it's camp. It's great. I love that movie, but they're campy looking. I mean, because it's the best they could do back in the day, like Star Trek, campy, but great. But there's just no way. Yeah, claims Patterson ripped him off for $1,000 for wearing the suit. Nobody would screw the guy in the suit. I don't believe Lazar. I don't. So we do. You want it to be? I think Patty's legit. I'm sorry. Go watch videos of where they. I mean, watch videos. I've even seen some where people are hardcore skeptics. Will watch the frame by frame and really, it was somebody that really knows how to analyze it, and they've changed their opinion. I mean, some hardcore skeptics will watch that frame by frame and have somebody explain why it's not able to be done by a human, and they've changed their minds on the spot. That's how much I believe it. And I don't believe Lazar. Lazar probably did not. We know he lied about. He never went to MIT. Not that you have to be in the yearbook, but there's no record of Lazar ever going to MIT. And trust me, I believe in UFOs. I'm 100% Roswell guy. 100%. That was an alien craft at Roswell, New Mexico, no doubt. But I don't believe Bob Lazar. Maybe he's got some information, but I don't think he was ever at Area 51 and saw a spacecraft. And and I'm a believer in Roswell. I just don't believe Lazar. Harmonious or something like that. I want the Loch Ness to be legit too. Yeah, I think it would have been debunked. That video should not hold up for. I thought I was losing my feet again. Yeah, that's a good point. But you can't move like Patty. Can't walk the way the feet bends. I don't know. I've heard that that definitely would not recommend DB Cooper versus Bigfoot. I think there's some weird stuff going on in that movie. I think Darren actually watched it. Darren White. It's a cool cover. That's as far as I'll go with DB Cooper and Bigfoot. The cover is cool. Modeling clay. Um, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think there's some weirder things going on in DB Cooper versus Bigfoot that it doesn't sound as innocent as it sounds. I've I've never seen it, but I kind of got an idea what's going on in that movie. I want the guys that escaped Alcatraz to be legit, which I think they are. I think the England brothers definitely are those dudes down in Brazil. I think they made it out. I really do. I'm gonna cover that one night. I want to do a escape from Alcatraz. And Jen knows I've been to Alcatraz. Sat in that part where Clint Eastwood does that scene in the movie. I absolutely think those dudes made it. Nobody stomps on Ted's legacy. Yeah, I definitely do. Books are on Amazon or the website, drewbeesonbooks.com, which will take you to Amazon. But thank you for bringing that up. Definitely check out all the books. Yeah, I'm going to. I love Alcatraz. I love it. I think I might have a picture of me at Alcatraz. So that's it. That is the case of Riley Strain. I'll definitely keep people up to date on it, either in the community group or we'll do another show on it. I'll definitely cover, if there's anything new by Sunday, I'll find out. I'll try to find out more about maybe why you got kicked out or anything more concrete, and we'll talk about it before the Sunday night show. But everybody have a good rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.